For most of his life, Jonah believed purpose had to be conquered. Not discovered, not received, conquered. He was one of those people whose body seemed to cooperate with ambition. Fast reflexes, insane coordination, a nervous system that loved pressure. By 14, he was dominating regional track meets. By 19, he was collecting national attention. By 24, he was standing on an Olympic podium with gold around his neck, his anthem playing, tears in his eyes, and cameras flashing like proof that he had finally become someone. For about 48 hours, it felt like heaven. Then, it didn't. The interviews ended. The congratulatory texts slowed. The medal sat on a hotel nightstand, looking strangely small in the morning light. Jonah kept waiting for some permanent internal shift, for satisfaction to lock into place, for a deep voice inside to say, "There, now you matter. Now you've done it." But the old restlessness came back, insultingly fast. So he did what achievers do when one summit fails to save them. He picked a higher mountain. Not literally higher, just stranger. Ski jumping had always fascinated him. The violence and elegance of it, the precision, the way one body could hang in air between terror and beauty. He had the raw athleticism and enough fame to get a serious coach interested. People called him crazy, then visionary, then brave. Secretly, Jonah liked all three. He trained like a man trying to outrun emptiness. The problem was, emptiness is excellent at keeping pace. One winter afternoon in Norway, on a training jump under hard blue sky, something went wrong on the landing. A gust caught him half a second wrong. His skis skewed. The slope rose too fast. Then came impact. Sharp, crushing, white. Later, he would only remember fragments. Medics shouting, the taste of iron, a strange silence opening underneath the pain. And then something he never had language for. He was no longer on the mountain. He stood in a kind of vastness that felt more real than weather or flesh. No crowd, no cameras, no podium. Just a presence so clean and overwhelming that he could not defend himself with achievement. Every medal, every record, every headline became suddenly weightless. Not meaningless, but unable to explain him. Then, understanding flooded him without argument. Every good thing he had ever done had been gift. The speed in his legs, the instincts in his body, the resilience, the opportunities, the timing, the people who formed him, the inward sparks that led him to train, strive, align, and follow through. None of it had originated in him as isolated self-authorship. He saw that the best accomplishments of his life had not been trophies manufactured by ego, but works God had authored in advance. Beautiful invitations he had stepped into, aligned with, cooperated with. He had called it my greatness. Heaven called it gifted participation. And then came the part that undid him most. The achievements were never meant to make him boast. They were meant to make him worship. Every development in his life, every strength, every breakthrough, every clean performance had been another chance to say, "Thank you, Jesus." Not because his effort was fake, but because even his effort had been sustained by grace. When Jonah woke in the hospital, he wept before he even knew whether he would compete again. The nurses assumed it was pain. It wasn't pain. It was relief. Because for the first time in his life, He no longer had to carry the unbearable fiction that he was the source of his own glory. Recovery was long. His body healed unevenly. Some doors closed quietly behind him. He never returned to the Olympics, but he became freer than he had been on the podium. He still loved training, still loved excellence, still honored discipline. But now every good thing in his life had a different direction, upward. A strong session in rehab? Thank you, Jesus. A steady hand, a clear day, a new opportunity, a regained step. Thank you, Jesus. And strangely, gratitude gave him more joy than gold ever had. Because once he understood that every good accomplishment was authored by God and offered as gift, achievement lost its power to inflate him and gained the power to humble, steady, and delight him. Jonah had spent years chasing purpose through victory. In the end, he found something better. He was not self-made. He was God's poetry. And the truest greatness of his life was never that he could accomplish much, but that even his accomplishments could become praise.